every one of you for tuning in. Before I get started, I'd like to just give a little bit of a rundown on what we're going to be going over today. Obviously, we can see that Bitcoin's had a heck of a rally here today. So that's something we'll be looking at. But not for the majority though. That's just a small sample of what we'll do, just in case, we want to bounce back and see how far XRP might need to retrace or what's going to happen. You still want to correlate it to Bitcoin, but today I'm fairly entrenched and focused on XRP. I'm still focused, or I'm rededicating my focus to the 2017 start of this formation, because we are in an extended 6-year bull flag if you want to actually be real. As we know, if you expand off of our all-time lows and bring ourselves up. So I promise you, going here on forward, I should say, that my dedication will never be greater. My focus will never be more lasered. And I'm going to be putting in the extra effort far more than I was before, even though I thought, I was doing a lot. I think I can refine it, and I think we can do a little bit better. So there's going to be more attention to detail, but there's also going to be more of an emphasis on the overall pattern and the opportunity that we must take advantage of, that we don't want to miss out on. XRP is presenting an opportunity that it doesn't come around very often. And I know we can talk about the other cryptos, we can talk about the other ISO and IoT tokens, but in this particular conversation, in this particular frame mindset, or the frame of mind, this intertwines with the fact that we're having a liquidity crisis across the world. And there's been different things said over the years from David Schwartz as well about how Ripple could be used as or XRP could be used as a world reserve currency, but as a stable coin is what it would be more utilized as. It'd be a lifeline for the banks, in my opinion. So there's a lot to be excited about XRP, but you must accumulate at times. Remember, back in 21, if we said XRP was going to be at 52.5 cents, we would have jumped off a cliff to get it. So it's all about perspective. So don't miss out on an opportunity, or a lifetime of opportunity, or an opportunity of a lifetime, simply because you're waiting for the majestic number that may never come, or you're waiting for these ridiculous pullbacks that it could happen. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we could go to your desired levels, but understand, when you accumulate, you've got to build somewhere. And even right now at 52.5 cents, we'll go over the charts. Believe me, we'll go over the charts, and we're going to go over and focus on the 2017 pattern and on as well, so we can see this bull flag setup. I was reading an article that it really helped me try to simplify it for the audience as well. So I think this is going to be a really enlightened episode. This is my most I've looked forward to do a live in quite some time. I've got the mojo back in my own mind. I feel that extra motivation to help each and every one of you. And when I feel extra motivated, you get content that is not the norm, but it seems like, it should be. So hopefully I'll be able to start a little routine here with each and every one of you. So let me get this started, and hopefully that breakdown lets you know what's to come here tonight, because it's very exciting. So good evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, February 9th. 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So some of you might be wondering why I'm outside. It's because I'm simply taking advantage of a day that we don't get in Michigan very often that's this warm. We were in the 60s today in early February. Now in the next 7 days, we're looking at an 8 to 13 inch snowstorm. So likely 1 week from now, I won't even be able to do this outside. So I figured we would do it like this to have a nice little time and hear nature, hear the cars, some of the muscle cars outside that we're passing by, and just, get some fresh air here. So let me turn on the comments, and we're going to get into this. I'm really looking forward to this live. I appreciate everybody who's here already. Please make sure to hit that like button so that we can try to expand our reach here during this live. I greatly appreciate that from each and every one of you, and the continued dedication. So let me turn on the comments. So let's see. So are we going down? Kyle, we will look at that very momentarily, but if Bitcoin does retrace like we should anticipate. You would expect XRP. We've hit the technical target. We all know the technical move from yesterday. We'll go over this. We've talked about it. We diagnosed the pattern pretty nicely. So now a pullback from Bitcoin would make sense, but I want to focus in on XRP to start this, and then we'll work our way into Bitcoin as we transition. But let me do my due diligence and say hi to the audience. JIOV, welcome in. Yes, 2017. Got in the game now. I own 35 coins of 1,000 to 1 million. With an exit plan. Yes, I'm ready. Excellent, JIOV. This is what I like to hear. And welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 589 badge. That is incredibly impressive. I love that. Thank you so much. Sam, good afternoon, and happy Friday to you as well, my brother. UK Phil, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for month 2. I greatly appreciate that. Matt Holden, Mo, and CJ2 Pilot in Tom's Army for 5 months now, going on 6. Thank you so much for that. XRP Meteor representing you. Marcus, welcome in. You've already done so much. Marcus, I understand that, and thank you for being in month 2. But I truly believe I'm lacking, and I feel like I was missing the point. I helped everybody get accumulated, but I really believe for the ones who haven't, I really need to target that side of the audience as well. Instead of just the XRP holders, I need to target the ones who are going to miss an opportunity of a lifetime. Because, make no mistake about it, we're going to transcend into this next chapter, and it's going to be a pretty interesting phase we go through. When you talk about the liquidity hubs drying out, you talk about the banks, they're on last breath reserve. Do you realize in March, we're going to have a liquidity crisis in the USA unless they bail them out again? It was a 1-year delay. So last year when the banks happened, when Bank of America, you seen, was having issues, but mainly we seen the banks in California, a few of them that were related to digital assets, a lot of them, they were going under. They were having liquidity problems. They were bailed out by the government. There was a 1-year measurement put into place. So that's going to end in March. So when you talk about a liquidity crisis that we're going to experience in the USA, and you find something that can not just put a Band-Aid on it, but can help push the money, XRP is going to be a big part of that. But fundamentally, we have to understand the cycle we're in. It's been a 6-year journey in this bull flag that we're going to discuss, and I'm super excited to talk about it. And I'm super excited to have everybody in here, because talking to everybody, it's really a cleanser to my soul. And to see everybody out here showing up and showing out is amazing. Angela, welcome in, love. Thank you so much for tuning in and being in Tom's Army with JW for over a year with the I told you so emoji badge. Love seeing all the members in Tom's Army in the badge. It's heartwarming. Or in Tom's Army, but in the chat. Devin, welcome in. Bullion.com got me $450 new member tube 1 per household tube of 20. Ooh, that is excellent. That is excellent. Thank you for sharing that information, Devin, as silver is in a really nice spot right now. With the gold silver ratio, it's around 90 right now. 90 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. So I think we're caught up now. Bobby Ferguson, good evening. Jorge, glad to see you both in here as well. Just making sure. XRP Raptor, welcome, and see, that's why I always do my due diligence. Everybody deserves to be recognized in this community. Thank you all so much for tuning in. So now that we got through the lengthy hello, just please make sure to hit that like button. That's all I ask. It'll help us expand this great community. So XRP, let's look at it in the immediate, and then I'll give you a sneak peek of what we're going to look forward to in a little bit. We're going to talk about the XRP rally that we could be poised from, and don't worry about the 400X or whatever. I'm more interested in this, and this will make it a lot easier than going back on my chart doing it with all the stuff I have written. This is the technical bull flag you could say we're in since 2017. Just think about that for a second. So if that's the case, think about how big of a move when we eventually break out of this. And yes, as we know, it can go out to 27 or 28. We are well aware of that. We are okay with that because we have that much time to prep. So we're going to go into this. We're going to pay attention to that chart as well, because if you're looking at it legitimately, XRP had a 60,000% move from 5 cents to all-time highs, or 0.005 to all-time highs. Now, by no means am I saying a 60,000x or 60,000% move is what's going to happen next time. But what I am saying is this next break out of the bull flag, you'll never see these numbers again, ever. Once that bull flag break happens to the top side after 6 years of accumulation, it's over. Everything that you would have ever wanted, instead of getting it in the 50-cent range or under $1 range, Just think one day when it does break all-time highs, and the first time we move to 5 and have that move from 5 to 10, that is when that big emotional tug is going to happen for the ones who missed out. But the ones who bought in are going to feel that generational pull already. Because when you get to there, let's just say you bought it at 50 cents. From $5 to $10, that's a 1x for somebody, and they'll be happy. They'll make 100%. They'll say, holy crap, I threw 10 grand on XRP and it moved 100%. I mean 10 grand. But now for somebody who bought it at 50 cents, this is where we are looking forward. If we buy it at 50 cents now, when it gets into those moments where XRP does hit 5, because it will, that's going to happen. And it may not happen until 27 or 28, but I'm telling you, that's going to happen at some point. So if it does go from 5 to 10 and you bought it at $5, that's great. You got a 100% move. If you bought it at 50 cents, you have a 10x move every $5 it moves. That's why I used $5 example. If you bought it where I did at 35 or 34.5 cents on this time around, every time it moves to all-time highs, I 10x. That's a 1,000% move. So when it goes from 340 to 680, but imagine when you get to those times when you start going 10 to 20 and somebody's getting a 1x, you're in the sense. This is where we're supposed to be at. A lot of people are being thrown off because XRP has been in such a consolidation for so long. They're saying it's junk. It's never going to do anything. And today's going to make it even worse. Because we talked about the short-term cup and handle, or the handle at least, that was kind of jank. But we're up there right now. And what everybody's going to say now, because we did come up here poor. We finished our technical move. Yeah, it could hit 531, but we talked about around the 53 cent was the actual ideal move. So 528 or 526 to 531, we were okay with that range. It hit it right in the middle at 528. If this is a reversal back down for XRP, we came back to the tier 1 breakout attempt, and this is what we want. Now what we want to do is back test this. And what I mean by back testing this is we have to find a more unified measurement here. We need to back test this new trend. So we do know we broke out of a short-term bull flag to the top side. That's how we measured it. But, as I stated before, and I'll state it again, we were also in what one could I don't want to say it's a guarantee that that's what we were in, but this is also what we were actually in. We were in what looked like I don't want to say that, I don't know why I did that. I don't want to say it's like a rising channel, but you could say we're in one of these formations. You know, I chose to use that small bull flag, but one could say a channel was rising, but then it became a little bit too unstable. I like this look. So we chose to look at it in the 30-minute or the 1 hourly, and that's how we diagnosed this move. So the measured move was out of this pattern. So for that reasoning, we're going to use this as the extension base. So when this breaks back down, you've got a chance to still hold the overextended retest, but it's going to have to come down a little bit. It's not a ton, but you're talking about around 51.70 is where we should have the estimated targeted retest if it's going to hold. And then if you look at it a little bit farther and you say, well, you know what, Tom? Let's take this pattern to the next level and let's just go with what you were saying with that channel. Then you have to look at this. Then you would have, as long as you stay on the top side of this, but it still gives you the same measurement. Honestly, what you really want is not to hold this and end out at 531. You want this to come back through and retest down in this area, you know, down right here. Because if it comes through in here and it comes down, you're at least going to get a nice, it's going to relax in the RSI and the daily time frame, which it'll be updated in a little bit. The daily time frame is just now starting to signify that push up. We speculated that was a W, and now it's starting to show us something. Now we just need to continue this pullback a little bit because, and let's just correlate this into Bitcoin for 1 second. I'm not focusing a lot on Bitcoin. I don't like to, but on times like this, you have to. Bitcoin had this big run. Now, we were talking about a broadening wedge, and the more I looked at it, it isn't a broadening wedge, and you have two ways of putting this. You could have said like this or like this to get the big wick, but then I realized it actually is exposing itself a little bit closer to the vest, and that's how we could technically say a resistance was met, because you could say resistance 1, support 1. So basically, instead of how I had it for the upper push, because we had the mid-tier levels at 47,000, that's why I tried to put it to the higher levels. But if you look at resistance 1, support 1 on a broadening wedge, then say this is resistance 2, right? Then We came back down here. Whoops. Let me show you the bottom so you can see it. We came back down to support 2. So we had these support areas and resistance. You only need 2 hits on each side. So now it becomes, is Bitcoin going to, I don't want to say drop the hammer on everybody, because I believe that Bitcoin has a big move in sort of the top sides, you know, when this is finished. But we did diagnose this pretty nicely. The only thing I would say is I lowered this a little bit to try to measure it up with the real flow today and see a logical stopping point. And that is a logical stopping point if I've ever seen one, especially if you put the broadening wedge like that. And I think that makes a hell of a lot more sense than the way I did it. That's why it's never a bad idea to evolve, but at the same time understand that you got some resistance up there now. So with Bitcoin, it's one of these things, we are so overextended. Does it do the next volatile move? So resistance, support, resistance, resistance, back to support, resistance. Now does it come back to support to open up the next volatile swing to where? And I know a lot of people are talking about this level. This would be 48,000 and some change, but that 50,000 level would start to open up if you could break through this. And that 50,000 psychological level is big, and you can logically meet up with it with the other way that I put this, and that's what we were targeting when we had it set up this way. We're trying to see the maximum potential bounce when we had it set like this, the maximum potential bounce. And if you see, if we come back through this, I mean, if you come all the way up here, you're talking 52,000 over there. So, but I believe we had it like this to measure it for the 50,000 bounce, as that was the wick, which you can do it however you want, but we're kind of defining like a fan system here. So that's how you get towards that 50,000. Now, I'm telling you, Bitcoin is very overextended right now in the 4 hourly, and we got to get off of this. I've already spent too much time on Bitcoin. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Please make sure to hit that like button. It does help. It really does help expand this. But we got to get back into XRP and talk about this 2017 pattern unfolding. But Bitcoin, just make sure you are aware of this. Overextended out the wazoo. Even right now with this slight pullback, we're at 88 in the RSI in the 4 hour. That's huge. The last time Bitcoin was at these levels, and it's right at that level, and it's kind of exceeded that level now. No, not quite. But the last time we were at these levels, actually, you know what? The 3 hourly is a better one to show, because you can see the true push up right now. 94.5. So the last time we were at this level right now, we came up and hit this top. And what happened? We topped out over here, and this is why we have to pay attention. And then we'll go over the next time we hit these levels, and then we're going to XRP. We hit this level, real quick, resistance down here. You see it as well in the RSI. We went from 45,000, and we had a retracement all the way down to 40,000. That's a 5,000 point correction. The next time we did this in the RSI, went way up and had to correct. We came up to 45,900, corrected down to 40,600. That's another 4,000 plus point drop. Then we came back up, and then the next time we corrected, the RSI didn't even come up as high. It came up to 83, and we corrected from 49,000, and we went all the way down to 38,600 before the next bounce to create the inverted head. Now what we're trying to do is then create that inverted arm. So if I'm looking at it logically, 44,335 is where the pattern's showing us it before. So that's where we have to ask ourselves a question. Does it go up first, or does it seem like the RSI has to clear out and come down and retrace? First target would be 46,333. Second target for Bitcoin would be down at the bull flag breakout, which we've already identified. It was a broadening wedge, and that's how we knew the targets. But these are still levels of support. So if the broadening wedge intermediate levels, you'd want to hold that 44,000 so that you don't go all the way back down to that, you know, under 40,000. Let's face it, if it went way back down there to the broadening wedge on support. But we knew the 47,000 was a major pivot point, so you'd have to get down there first. However, we are showing a reversal candle in the 3 hour, and we are overextended. At some point, we're going to have a volatile swing down. It just, we won't be able to help it, but we don't know how high it's going to go. That's the only thing we have to ask ourselves. So with XRP today, with what we know about Bitcoin, and please let me know in the comments if that explanation of Bitcoin helped. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You mean the world to me. And your support is second to none. I don't even know how else to describe it. But with XRP, we're overextending ourselves just slightly, not as much as Bitcoin, but in the 3-hour, we're up at 76. That's the caution area. We got to make sure that, you know, if we see a reversal signal or an opportunity of consolidation, that's where we're looking. But if it does come back down, we'll look at obvious levels of opportunity. If it comes back through, I wouldn't even look at this little rising channel, to be honest with everybody. I know it's sexy, or this little bull flag that we broke to the top side of, or the fact that we could get over this first tier breakout on this descending triangle. You don't want that to hold just yet. You want this to consolidate, and some people are like, oh, XRP goes up a few cents, it needs it. Absolutely it does. Because then you can continue up to the top of this descending triangle if you do this formation properly at 56 cents, then ultimately leading you to that 60-cent showdown if you can break out of this. Right now, though, we need to come back and correct a little bit. We want to clear out the RSI before it gets overextended like Bitcoin so that it just doesn't come down real quickly. Daily's looking fine. That's the part of this, that's the element here that looks a little bit better. I know these look a little weird because it's in the daily, but that's just the targets and the little formation that's set up in the short term. But we're actually not looking too bad in that sense, but we are looking a little overextended here in the smaller time frames. I would love this reversal to start now, get us down here at minimum, see if we can hold the 518, 5175, whatever. But that is a pivot point. That's a first layer pivot point to see if this pattern is, in fact, okay consolidating. But if you fall into the channel, remember, rising channels are bearish reversals if you can't stay above it. So I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but we kind of want it. We want it right now because we're looking for a monumental bounce. And right now, for me, we had a crossing of the 20, crossing the 50. Let's come all the way back down here. Let's try to retest some of these areas, and let's make a play here. Now, XRP is going to be hindered based on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin comes down and has a mighty correction like we can kind of see, it is going to be interesting. XRP is also showing interesting formations. It's just unfortunate that this formation showed up down here, because if we do have that push up, 534 maybe, but we'd rather this just break down and come back down into these formations, give us a little bit more clarity to bounce up. But we're going to get into this 2017 uptrend here. If you look at it back, if you want to look at it at my chart very quickly, for anybody who's new, you're going to want to pay very close attention to this. Tanya, welcome in. My birthday sister's in the house. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for 5 months now. Going on 6. And CJ2 Pilot as well with that XRP Meteor. I love that so much. And thank you all so much for that continued support. Man, does it mean a lot to me, especially in these trying times in crypto. You know, not a lot of people are watching anymore. At least not as many that were. I'm not saying just my community. My community is at its all-time high as far as viewers. Maybe not viewership, but the viewers that are subscribed. So, Zachary, thank you for being in Tom's Army as well, my friend. I didn't even see which badge that was. I'm going to have to see that when it comes back. I appreciate your dedication, my friend. You have the XRP 589 badge. I knew you were here for a while. Thank you so much for being dedicated for over 2 years going in Tom's Army. That's a very special badge to me as well. Thank you so much for that. XRP, if we look at this realistically, resistance, support. We talked about this, support. What did we say we had to do? Come to resistance. So now you've got 3 hits on resistance. What are we missing here? We've only got 2 hits on support. So I dare say it could, if Bitcoin consolidates, this is where you could have the 1, 2, 3 out. If we get something like that, I'm going to be super excited. Super excited. Super excited. And this would, because remember, the other thing I forgot to tell everybody, and I do apologize for this when we're looking at Bitcoin, because now we have to go back. Bitcoin, if this is the cup and handle, remember, we have to put the handle on now. So that would be our consolidation. It's a bullish consolidation. So what I mean by that is we targeted this area. Yeah, I think we targeted like 47, 46.3, and then 47. But this cup that it filled. Now we would have to put a bullish handle, right? And you'd expect it to do something like this, maybe a little bit further. What I did, it goes down to about 45. No, it's probably going to be a little farther than that, because we're going to have a nice little correction. I could see it coming down maybe somewhere in here, maybe 44. But you're going to want to see something, you know, fill out a nice handle here. You're going to want to see something like this and then swing back around. That's what we're going to want to see start to play out here. So remember, with Bitcoin, we've already completed what looks like the shorter cup. The only question is if Bitcoin had the audacity here to break up a little bit higher first and actually hit the top of this wick. Generally, you won't see that. Generally, we've already filled this out perfectly at 48,000. And even further, we even had a bigger run up because technically the cup I was targeting, unless we came up to the wick, was around 46,355. So to say this could be a bullish handle is saying it mildly right now. It could be a very bullish handle here. We just need to come down, do this. Even if it comes down there, it would be beautiful. But we just need to do this properly. And then you put the bullish handle on the cup. Bitcoin kind of does its consolidation within it. And then it can break out and continue this pattern and try to come up to the top here, which puts us somewhere that's just about 49,100. So I'm looking for ways to have this market do what we want to do without having to reverse right away. But as you know, I'm invested. I'm accumulated long. We did FOMO Friday and Winning Wednesdays for anybody who's new for a period of time. And we're ready. Whether it goes up or down, we're ready. You know, I've done what I wanted to do from the buying front. Now it's the patience front. Now it's time to be patient. So XRP going back to 2017 since we covered all the nuts and bolts. And I appreciate everybody who stuck around still. So XRP going back to 2017, let's get into this. So XRP, and let's get everybody acquainted here. Ripple, XRP price poison. I said don't worry about the 400X. We're trying to dig deeper into this pattern. I can go from this a couple different angles. We'll start here. Really, if this 2017 pattern repeats, the Ripple community has remained optimistic about a win against the SEC in the final civil trial despite the notable blows. XRP price has consolidated for over 5 years and seems well poised for a bullish breakout. Technical Analysts is convinced that XRP price is in the final consolidation phase before entering a parabolic bullish era. Ripple Labs backed XRP has struggled to maintain a bullish trend in the recent past amid the ongoing altcoin awakening. The ongoing SEC versus Ripple lawsuit largely threatens the mid-capped altcoin as more investors stay away from XRP to avoid non-performing crypto portfolios. With the crypto bull market already confirmed, more investors are positioning their crypto portfolios and altcoins with better fundamentals. Consequently, XRP price action could again underperform in this bull market cycle unless the court and the U.S. Congress issue clear crypto regulations. And as we can see, and I'll use this chart for now because it's out in front of me, you can see, and I've shown it many times, I can go towards 28. That's how you can get out towards 28. That's the all-time bull flag right now, from the breakout from the lower regions until this current formation from all-time highs. So that's still a very long ways to go, but you can see there is an opportunity there if it does manage to hold this in a proper accumulation within, and they put an accumulation box in there, which is nice. So the accumulation zone, if it can hold this, there is a shot here, you know, in time to get up to 10 bucks. And that's not a target that I take lightly because I've always talked about the first time we hit all-time highs, then we can do the pullback, then get the 5, and then finally double it to 10. That's where the real magic can happen. So let's continue reading this because this is something I think that's going to be missed by a lot of people that are maybe afraid to buy XRP. I think a lot of people see XRP going down and they think they've missed the opportunity. No, when you see it going up, when you see it up at $2, $2.50, $3, $5, that's when you miss the opportunity. When it's in the cents, especially 50 cents. Yes, I know I bought it at 34, but my first time around I was in at 47 on average, 47 cents. So we're right in that area right now. I was buying up this zone up and down last time, but now I've accumulated what I wanted. So it's not as demanding right now. Unless we go down under 34 cents. But anyway, continue reading this. So Ripple fights back U.S. SEC tactics. On Tuesday, United States Magistrate granted the SEC's motion to compel Ripple to disclose its XRP transactions for the past 2 years, with the blow likely to impact the on-demand liquidity ODL customers in the United States. Ripple has requested a 1-week extension of the deadline for remedies-related discovery from February 12th to February 20th, 2024. Meanwhile, the U.S. SEC has proposed new rules to govern automated liquidity providers like XRP Ledger, which also blows XRP mass adoption. How far can XRP price reach in this bull cycle. Now, that last part is another tactic I believe the SEC is using to throw us off of XRP, and especially the ISO tokens, but in this case, XRP. You've got to kind of look past it. You got to see what kind of cycle we're in. They're using the mass adoption thing as it could take a blow. I disagree. If you look at the amount of banks and the amount of institutions, and not just that, the amount of countries, especially within the BRICS, that are behind this, it's a crazy blow to think of what we could miss out on if we weren't actually locked in, or if someone's actually watching crypto someday in the near future. It could take 4 or 5 more years, but it's going to be in the near future that XRP and crypto, at least the ISO ones approved, the IoT, the Internet of Things, with the emergences of the smart houses, with the emergences of the smart cities and things like that, and the emergence of the digital dollar. This is going to be equivalent to the .com explosion, when the Nvidias, the Microsofts, the Apples, the AMDs, the early manufacturers of chips, Intel, even at Dell early on, you had, man, you had a few of them back in the day. Like Toshiba was a very big maker back in the day. Back in the day, though, if you got into that, the ones you got in cheap, Tesla even, you can use those kind of things. The ones you got into that wasn't .com, that's more like the EV shock. But with the .com bubble, that's what we're looking at right now. This is that next transcending moment in human history. Since the internet, I don't believe there's been anything this transcending since. This is the next era. To be in on it on the ground floor, because that's what you're at right now. Before mass adoption, you're on the ground floor. Everybody can say what they want. Do you think the ones who bought it in 2017 at $3.30 wish they would have had the foresight to know in 2024 they could have bought it at 50 cents? I guarantee you they're bashing their heads through the wall right now, in one way or another. So now you have this opportunity. This doesn't come around very often. This does not come around very often at all. And I fully believe that this is going to end up pushing us into a very big moment. And we're going to have it's going to be a big moment. So let's continue this. So according to popular digital asset analysts, so we give him his good grace because we used one of his charts it's showing, so we want to recognize Crypto Patel. The XRP price has a higher chance of breaking out in a parabolic fashion soon after consolidating in a triangle range over the past 6 years. XRP price has undeniably accumulated more positive fundamental aspects. As a result, the crypto analyst expects the XRP price to reach 90 cents after a successful breakout from the consolidation range between 40 and 50 cents. Afterward, the crypto analyst believes the pathway to an all-time high will be clear and a parabolic rally towards $10 will be inevitable. So that's part of that, what I wanted to show. And now let's get back into the current formation. We know the demand zone, and the rising channel is a very big spot here as well. If we were to break down, you could come down to 44.5 cents. Not really looking to come down there. I'm just looking to fill this out for a third. I just look to see what makes the most sense. What makes the most sense? And for a formation to be recognized, and we could say we've already had that third hit, and that's where we can speculate. We can already say that hit's been made, and you want to know how? We could technically say that the pattern's been confirmed. You have to use the wick back here. Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. So does that mean it can break out? Or does this play true? Support 1, resistance 1. Support 2, resistance 2. Support 3, resistance 3. Support 4, resistance 4. Usually it does converge like this. You'll get converging pattern, and then boom. The more this consolidates, the better. Like you can see how this is consolidating down, where eventually, if we can hold this, especially if we keep doing this, maybe you get a little bit like that. That would, if you're asking me what the perfect breakout would be, it's exactly what I just showed. A quick descending consolidation, have a V-shaped recovery down to the rising channel support, and then be able to push out. This support's held since June of 2022 for a reason. For a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Lewis, yes, let's fucking go, is right. Let's bring XRP all the way up. If you think XRP has a chance of moving to all-time highs, in this current bull cycle, when we do break into, you know, where we're going to eventually go, in this next bull cycle, say yes in the chat if you think XRP can actually get to all-time highs in the next bull cycle. Because I firmly believe we've never had another bull cycle since 2017. I've said it once and I'll say it a million times. If you're new, it's the first time you're hearing me say it. And I'll simply go back to this chart because it's clearer than having to go back to mine with all the stuff I have written. We have clearly not had a bull market since in 2017, the run up. We've been in a firm consolidation, and I'll show you on mine as well. We've been in a firm consolidation since 2017. And I don't say that to make people mad. I say that to make people optimistic. To understand that you've been following an asset that you've been basically lied to and talked about these extreme bull markets, especially in 21, that was not happening. I embrace you. I encourage you. And it gives me that motivation to never leave you. Because I'll be damned if I leave you in a bad spot because I didn't show you something that I could have. And that's what I mean by working harder, doing it to the next level. I firmly believe that's what I need to do here. So, if you're looking at it from certain perspectives here, you can go back to June of 21, and that's where we started this little convergence. But if you look at this from all time, we had the run up, and this is where they're kind of talking about in here. You had the run up, get the nice flag coming down, and then they're going to start to bring it up somewhere around here because that's where you had the uptrend starting. So now, all of a sudden, you've had a market that's been in this exact same setup, and on their chart, they showed you the breakout. This is on mine where it's happened. You had the breakout, and then the boom. That's where that big bull flag would come in, and then you have to start to speculate exactly how to look at it. But I did it in a sense where we've had resistance, supports, and what ends up happening, sorry, somebody was turning in my driveway, and you know, when it's dark, you got to pay attention at nighttime. I'm not sure who that was, but they're just turning around, so all good here. So, with XRP, I diagnosed a long time ago, and I've been using it for years, that we hit this uptrend now. So basically, if you're new here, if you're not, it's always good to see this again. This is how we start to see that the XRP 2017 cycle is in fact repeating itself. It's not just a made-up fairy tale. Something is going on here, and it's looking awfully similar to what was going on back then. And it's been a long time since we've gotten into a little momentum here. The consolidation from 2017 to 21 as well is starting to line up as well. So the best way that I can show you this, and then we can get back on and actually listen to what everybody thinks, if you want to leave an active comment so that I can look through and see what you're saying. We had this resistance all-time highs. The first time we could hit this support is right here. So a few people, so Q Flow said, I had a dream the other night XP was $10. Hope to see if this, yeah, I know, that's what I keep seeing over the last few years. We don't know when it's going to happen, but after this consolidation and this actually breaks out of this very long 6-year flag, let's just call it, triangle. So resistance, we also had another support here. Then he came back down to support 3. Then so if this is playing true, the all-time breakout is either going to be in one of these few areas. Now, if you're assuming that this pattern plays true and we don't lose it, this pattern has to play true. You can't drop down below the 2017 pattern and come down here. Or the 2020 pattern you can't break below and come to 2017. If you come to 2017 uptrend, that can bring you as low as 24.7. Now, what we're looking at right now, technically, we're not looking at that zone. You're looking at the 38-cent demand zone where you start the downtrending resistance in 2017 and you get the first clear hit of the uptrend in 2020. That's this 5-year formation everybody's talking about, the triangle or the bull flag that's been stuck in for 5 years. And it's consolidating very nicely. When you get something consolidate like this, you typically have an explosive move up. The longer you consolidate, the better. And going on over 5 years now, that's a long consolidation if I've ever seen one. So that's something to consider with XRP. If you're on the fence about should I buy XRP or should I not, there's a generational opportunity, I don't say that lightly, to transcend things, to change the outlook, maybe in your own family, maybe your kids' future, maybe just from an investment standpoint, just to be able to have an advantage against the digital dollar that could be looming on the other side here. Gold's one thing, but you're going to have more than just gold and silver. You're going to have active liquidity. And that's how you garner it in a digital aspect. You get the digital token that's doing it. So what I'd be focused on today is to see if we play out in a fashion like I've drawn out here. I would love to see XRP do something like that. I think that would give us maximum potential. And the reason I say that is, if it does play out like something like that, you get that huge consolidation. You would even retest that uptrend from 2022. And you could continue on to see exactly how this pattern is going to fare. And by doing this as well, it doesn't look like it, but you kind of bake in a nice little reversal here. Yes, we did this and we came up. But just think, you come down, up, down. I mean, just think about what could be presenting here if that does play out. Does anybody else see that possibility? This is my mind not necessarily playing tricks on me, but this is my mind saying, Tom, with what Bitcoin's doing, you know you're going to have a pullback, and there's no way they're going to let the long go all the way up without liquidating those said longs who are leveraged. So now you got to find where smart money's looking. I think smart money would be looking at something like what I've drawn out to make that big W in the formation. It would make perfect sense. I know it's going to be a long, drawn-out process, but this makes perfect sense. Renee, welcome in, love. Wow, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. Marcus, I appreciate you being in Tom's Army for over 2 years now, or the 2 months now, with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I need you guys as much as you need me. It's just, it's a struggling time right now, you know? So I've dedicated, and I will continue to dedicate to each and every one of you, and I promise the content's going to be more explosive. I promise we're going to look at different avenues, and I promise you at the end of this, if you stay true to yourself and you stay true to me, that we're going to make an explosive change in our own portfolio. Not just from a zero standpoint, I mean from a lifelong, it's over standpoint, that you won't have to worry about certain avenues. So the power of positivity will be greeted strongly in here. The presence of negativity I won't acknowledge going forward, but the power of positivity is the transcending way we're getting back to. The power of positivity and helping each other with love in the heart instead of the hate. That's how we stay on the right track. So, how long have we been on? How long have I been? 42 minutes I rambled? Oh my goodness. I appreciate the 96 likes. If you do appreciate my work, join on board like the rest of the members that you see in Tom's Army. Take that leap, show that support, and join Tom's Army. It's in the video description below. I would greatly appreciate that. If you don't want to do that, consider to humbly send a YouTube super chat to put in some, to put in something for the time served. I do put in an awful lot of my time, so if you want to show, I encourage you to show support for my work. Maybe just once a month, join Tom's Army, send a YouTube super chat here or there. But I encourage you, please, if you appreciate my work, make sure we stick around here for all eternity and pay it forward by showing the proper support. With XRP right now, I am looking at a move something like this. If you would like to relax with me, because I'm not ready to leave yet, not even close. I can feel this going much over an hour at least tonight, I feel like. I'm having a lot of fun here tonight. I feel like we're covering a lot of good topics, but we still have more to cover. Sean Crothers, welcome in, my friend, my main man from Maine, and also one of the earliest mods I've ever had. And if you'd like to relax, I'm going to have some cannabis. But I say relaxing. I don't like the other terminology. I'm going to enjoy some of the earth. So, is there anything anybody's got on their mind tonight? I think we've got like 80 people in here tonight. 83 people, which is a beautiful thing to see here tonight. I can't thank you all enough for being here. Is there anything on our minds tonight? Is it Zachary, welcome in. Actually, you've already been in here, but I appreciate you being in Tom's Army for 2 years with the 589 badge, 2 years plus. So, the XRP cycle. So, just talking about this a little bit. Ready? So, market analyst Tony, who identified the pattern, suggests that the massive surge observed in 2017, taking XRP to $2.47, could repeat in the current cycle. The thin order book, short positions being covered, and fear of missing out are cited as potential triggers for this anticipated rally. And that's from November 11th to 23. Look how we've rallied from there. We were under 30 cents or right around 30 cents at that time. So consider that. You know, there's a lot of things in this current cycle to consider. We'll get into a little bit more with the 2017 possible swell with XRP. I know I've had questions about XLM, and I think we've done our due diligence about XRP tonight. It's going to be very interesting to see if Bitcoin has a correction today, though. Now that we flipped the clock, if they're anticipating having a correction, this is generally the time you would do it, after the flip of a clock, after a nice bullish day. You have a thinly traded weekend. I hate to say it, but these are the times you can get that quick consolidation. So if you see some kind of a trap, just please, 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 you know, do your due diligence and don't get scared. The great following will tell you, as well as I will, as well as many others in this chat, you cannot be afraid of what you know. You can't know what you're afraid of. It sounds stupid, and that's a term I'm going to start using more. Don't be afraid of what you know. You'll be afraid a lot more if you don't understand it. If you understand what you're looking at, don't be afraid. This rising channel is held for a reason. Yes, we had a cup formation, and like I've said, there's a very weird thing that happened. We came up here. This was a fake out. That's all this was. So now we're trying it again. We just need to consolidate and hit this rising channel support. After a massive resistance up here, we need to come down and build a formation like I've shown in XRP. But don't be swayed. There is a lifetime opportunity presenting itself to us in 2024 still. Period. And that's just the bottom line. And sometimes it's just the bottom line because I said so. And sometimes when I say so, I'm wrong. But in this instance, I know I'm right. You know, we can't all be right 100% of the time, but this is one thing I know I'm right about. I've done my homework. It's just a matter of who's going to be in it when it's right. Who's going to pay attention to it in the times like now to where they won't have to buy in when we get towards all-time highs. I guarantee you this lobby is going to be crowded when XRP gets to $1. We'll probably have 400, 500 people in here. When it was at 90 cents, we had 300 people in here. Once we get up into those levels, I don't want people that are going to be in here that are new. I want the new people, but I want others to be in here so the new people can see this community's been going a long time. And yeah, we might be at $4 right now, but we've been doing this since 30 cents. You see what I'm saying? We've been doing this since 30 cents. We've been doing this since the 21 bull market and before it, or the mini bear market rally, I should say. I want to be in that environment with all of you. That's why as much as I have to be diligent, so do each and every one of you. As much as I need you, I know you need me as well. And I may need you, I actually do need you even more than you need me. Because let's face it, you could get this information somewhere else. It just might not be the same type of information. So, XLM, that's the power of prosperity between us all. We can prosper with each other. It's so simple, it's so true, and it's the truth. So XLM, we've got a little bit of an ascending formation. It's just like XRP. We did create a small descending structure, which we did come up to the resistance. A little bit easier to see in the 2 hour. This is kind of the overextension to see if we're going to actually break down or not. Right now, if we break up, we could come up a little bit higher. But I would love to see XLM. It did come up here. It's slowing down. We just need to see with Bitcoin now if it does drop the hammer here a little bit. Drop the hammer to build the handle, okay? XLM right now does have a W reversal formed. So what I would like to see here, even if this is just, you know, I don't know how high it's going to go, but I would love to see something like this to push it out. I know you guys have seen that a lot. So, I mean, that might not be a huge move back, but you could do something like that. Or this is just going to continue to fill out. And if it breaks down the whole technical move, I mean, you could be looking at a 9 cent. I don't think that's necessarily what's going to happen. I think if we look at this from a daily perspective as well, it's going to be up a little bit today, but it's definitely hinting at a move here in the daily. It's just we've had a death cross that needs to finish out, and we have not had that volatile drop yet. That is the one thing we have not had since retesting the 200-day and failing. We have not had the volatile drop. And that's just not unique for XLM. That's unique for crypto. And XLM, the overall formation, it does call, as we can see here, this is just a mid-tier setup, but it really does call here for XLM resistance, support, resistance. It actually hit a support back around, but resistance. Now, if it's working its way back down to like a support area, then back to resistance, I can see it doing this. And again, just like XRP, look at this. If you look at this and don't be biased, doesn't that look like there could be a huge W winding up for not just XRP, but for XLM as well? We can see the same thing we talked about. There's something building here if we can pull this right side down. Come in unity, peace, and love. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Crypto Bob, welcome in. I appreciate you so much for tuning in, my friend. Somebody said about Solana. I can certainly look at Solana and see how its adaptation is right now compared to XRP. I don't want to go through go dun. I don't want to burn myself out on this live. I'm going to do my best to get to what everybody's asking for, but consider my time. And, whether that means hit the like button, that would be great. If you feel inclined to pay it forward, great. But just consider it might take me a second to get to what everybody wants, and just be patient with me for just a second. I do work very hands-on, so I do go with the flow of the crowd a lot. So Solana, we'll look at it from a perspective of just the crypto market. It's at 107.65, $107.65. Looks like a V. Ooh. Interesting. So the only reason I say that is we see this setup right here. We see the setup. Look at Bitcoin before it made the pull up today, I want to say. I mean, Bitcoin had that exact same V-shaped recovery, although it is pulling up. So we'll see, but it's definitely showing a lot of similarities here to where, but let's look at Solana for what it is by itself. Let's go back to Solana. Whoops. Let's go back to Solana. So Solana right now, if we're looking at this logically, we have a cup formed. We are currently trying to put that bullish handle on the cup, which, you know what? We have the cup formation. We are clearly putting in that bullish handle right now. The question is did we come to the top side of it already? No. Because you could say, if we're using this, yeah, you could do this and say the breakout started. Like, you could certainly say, but if you're looking at it from like all right, let's make sure. I would start matching this up. I would start matching this up right now and see how this reacts. We got that close to wick. I would just start to see, but this is certainly a bullish cup. It's an overextended right side. That should be a bullish handle that's forming here. The fact that we came from above and now we're forming this, what looks like handle. Now I would like to see it just a little bit farther down and then start to do that swing up. Man, these are all with that potential. If they did something like this and then the bullishness that could come out of a formation like this for Solana is crazy. And the fact that it's on a handle right now on this cup, these are bullish reversals on these handles. And you can see that W, it's even put in there right now with that V shape on the bottom. That's the market cap of Solana, obviously. That's what we're trying to look at right now to see if there's a way up. And then we'll look at the price action from an actual charting perspective. But the market cap certainly has a handle formed here, and it's starting to break out here a little bit. And like the technical move up still has some ways. The only question is does it need a little liquidity to get up there? I don't think so. It could get up there. Certainly within that inverse head and shoulders in the wedge. You're 100% right. That's what I was trying to articulate, and I just couldn't do it. But you're 100% right there. So I would say, I mean, it would have a pretty substantial move up. You'd be talking about fulfilling some of these higher levels. So next layer would be this market cap could get up to 64 billion. That's a hefty cry from where it's at now. Now, if we go from the crypto, or from Solana, just from a chart perspective on the price, we'll look at it from Coinbase. You've got that same cup and handle formed. See how it bounced off of our support? That was our pivot point, if anybody remembers, on that cup. $89.31. We've talked about this before, and we talked about the tactical move and where it would need to hold to continue. It just happened to break out of this formation now. It played pretty true up the entire time as well. So it looks like it might have eyes for the full on. If that full move happens, that would be way up there. Got a lot of work to do to get up there, but that could be a logical range. That would be a full-blown market explosion here coming to us. And would we be surprised to have a full-blown market explosion with what we've seen in the current environment? No. To get this exact explosion that isn't going to roll over and, crush us, it is in our best interest right now to get the pullback with Bitcoin. I can't stress it enough. It is in our best interest, as we're now back within the tier of the broadening wedge, if you're looking at it from a traditional standpoint, not the expandable. It's now back within there, so if this is a resistance point, maybe this is how it starts. A scary thing to look at, because a lot of times you're like, oh, if you hold the 200-day in the daily, that's how you signify reversal. To come all the way back down and to tap that, it would have to come down to like 37,500. No one's saying that's what's happening. No one's saying that's what's happening. I think 46,355 would be a really nice spot to start if we are bullish. If we do continue, I mean, we're bullish, but to see if we get a bullish continuation before a further correction. If you see Bitcoin continue up, we're gonna start to end up having a big problem. If Bitcoin continues to go up, look at the daily time frame now, what it's done. The daily time frame has eked its way up here into overbought. There is still room to catch up, but we did finish a cup. Like, this is the important part. The fact there's a cup finish here with the RSI as well, even on a bullish cup, this should be pulling back here to like 57 to the 60. So there should be a decent correction coming here. Everything is speaking for that correction. See how we've rounded back down and we're volatilely coming back down in the 3-hour. That could have rounded back down. Now you're trying to see if you can hold. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that has to happen here. We finished that move up. There's no doubt about that. This RSI is the highest I've seen it in a very long time. We're up to 94.8. So, are we going to continue the volatility and just come right back up and start pushing 50,000? Or can Bitcoin get a proper correction? We can do something special here. If Bitcoin gets the proper correction and XRP continues to build the pressure, some of our other tokens continue to build the pressure, alts are going to have an explosive alt season in 24. Likely before the election just to make it look good. But look at another one like DGB. Look how overextended that is in the 3. You can't make that up. 90.72. Last time DGB had a move up close to this high, you're talking we came up to like 88. Even back here was like 88. So the last time we came up to 88, the DGB price, I mean, you don't make this stuff up, went all the way from like the 008 or 00921, and before it ever made another move back up, it had to break all the way back down to 0075. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I can assure you that's a big move. Look at the size of this just from a charting perspective. A 27% correction the last time this happened. And now we've just consolidated to hit the technical, probably a resistance point here somewhere. Now does it put us down to the bottom of the pattern? That's what we're looking at all around crypto. But Bitcoin coming up and overextending as much as it did, it could have set us up for a trap here. That's why this morning I said, well, I switched my title because it went from my first title. I had to re-upload the video, which is always nice. So it makes it interesting. But the title was just for that because I believe there is a trap. I believe something's trapped. There's a trap being set at least. And that doesn't mean it's just a bull trap and it's over. I think a lot of people are going to anticipate, and this is why I think it would be in the best interest for the manipulators or the market makers to do this with Bitcoin and drop it down before they take it to the ultimate level. If they want maximum liquidity, I think nothing would trick people more than dropping Bitcoin down to 45, maybe 46. Well, actually, if to trick people, you'd have to come down to around either 45.5 or 44,000 with that old bull flag formation before it clearly showed that we were in a broadening wedge. But I think the maximum way to manipulate people out would be to dump it down a few thousand points here, make them think, oh, look at this, Bitcoin went up, XRP finally goes up a few cents, and now it's right back down to 48.5, 49 cents for XRP. Bitcoin's back down to 44, 45,000. It's over. I'm done. I'm never looking back. And then the very next week or month, all of a sudden with that added liquidity and that added pressure, you see us have a 1, 2, 3, 100% move in some of the altcoins, because that's what is going to end up happening eventually. Eventually, you can only build so much pressure. You've seen some of them, unlike XRP, which is being held back by the court case. Imagine when the court case isn't holding it back. XLM is being held back in the same manner. Algo, all of the ISO, the ones related to the what's the word I'm trying to use? But anything related to XRP from the standpoint that it can be used as or can be viewed as a security, which is a complete insult to us now in the XRP community. As we know, Bitcoin is recognized by the CFTC, the commodities, or it's the Commodities Future Trading Commission or whatever, but they're identified as a commodity. So how can a commodity be a security? Gold's not a security. Silver's not a security. The stocks aren't securities, they're commodities. The commodities. So I'm not exactly sure how it can still be pulled like this, that we can be misled so badly. It makes it very hard, and I completely understand with XRP, but I'm telling everybody, we're getting into a transformative moment. XRP, there's going to come a point where it is your last chance. This is your last cycle to actually do this right. We had a historic crash from 21 to 22, late 22, early 23. Historic. The amount of liquidity that was had was never seen before. Now we have a historic opportunity with the pricing being just a little bit different here. Just a little bit different. So, and we can go back in time, but I want to look at a couple things real quick from a standpoint of XRP trading volume right now. I want to see what the indicators are picking up. So, the live XRP price today is 52.6 cents with a 24-hour trading volume of what is that? $1,020,626,911 US dollars. So that's a 2.47% rise. So a comeback story. Here's how the XRP trading volume fared in Q4 2023. That's not what I'm looking for. That's in the past. I'm looking recently. XRP trading volume past 24 hours. Guess we could have did 72. Alright, so I guess we're not going to get much there. I'm trying to look for some of the headlines that are popping up as well while I have your guys' attention. And if you're still here with me, let me know in the comments if you would like. And I want to read a little bit more to everybody. I'm having a good time tonight. So, the fact the regulators are fighting so hard against Ripple tells you everything you need to know. Exactly. Yeah, DGB, that's Digibyte. That's in the Internet of Things. It's one of my favorite tokens. It's my baby. It's the most undervalued in my opinion. I sold it at 15 cents and got to buy it back at around 0.005 and some change. So I sold 10,000 tokens and have picked up so far over 72,000 for much less than what I even had in it. I had 10,000 tokens at 5 cents for transparency the first time around. Second time around, 0.005. And I will live with that. So, if you want to see the Ripple versus SEC, that story being delayed with the remedies related discovery, they're looking for a lot of paperwork going from a 2-year stretch for institutional investors in 22 and 3. So they got an extension from February 14th to the 20th. If you want to learn about that, you can watch, I did an update on it. It's only like a 3.5, 4-minute update. So, and then this is something that's interesting as well. XRP uninfluenced by the current market sentiments Is it a calm before the storm? XRP continues to trade within the same range regardless of the bullish momentum being coiling up within the crypto space. From a larger perspective, it appears that the price is following a corrective wave and hence a bigger price action could be expected upon its completion. It was not a good week for XRP as the price remained stuck around the 51 to 52 cent range, which included minor fluctuations. The price has been trading under extreme bearish influence ever since it faced rejection after testing the levels above 72 cents. Comparing the previous price action, it appears that XRP price has already experienced a similar trend earlier, and if the same outcome occurs, a massive breakout could be imminent. Just before a January close, XRP recorded a huge jump in the selling volume, which dragged the levels below 50 cents for a while. Since then, the bulls seem to be experiencing, and that would work out nicely too with a tiny pullback. Not much for an explosive move, not to where they're saying, because you'd have to break out much farther than what it's showing right now. But it is showing you out of the targeted area it would have to break out to push that level. Because if it breaks out of this and pushes out of the formation, like I've said, from 2017, that would get us up over $2. It's right around $2, a little bit higher. It's just an explosive buildup, and that has a lot more potential there if it has a bullish consolidation there as well. Since then, the bulls seem to be experiencing a serious drain, which has kept the price consolidated. On the other hand, from a larger perspective, XRP is speculated to be heading to the edge of the capitulation phase, which may result in a massive breakout very soon. The above chart shows the XRP price is repeating the previous play, but with enhanced strength and intensity. Previously, just before the 2017 breakout, the XRP price, and that was a beautiful, I believe it was about a 90-day run that lasted. It was incredible. And then from 2017 to 2020, it was interesting at best. I mean, it happened over a period of time, as you know. But the XRP price traded under bearish influence within a symmetrical triangle for over 4 years. Moreover, the volatility dropped as price entered the last phase of an accumulation, where it appeared largely dead when the breakout occurred. The XRP price displayed a 650% run, or 650x run, so 65,000% roughly, in 306 days to mark the current all-time high above $3. Regardless of the rejection, which followed by a couple of bear markets in 2019, 2020, and 2022. So I acknowledge this page too, because they're actually calling 22, that time frame between 20 and 22. I guess they're calling it bear markets in itself, just in those frames, but they at least are saying it. The XRP price held strongly above a 10-year trend line. This has been acting as a strong support level, which may produce a fine upswing soon. Besides, the monthly MACD, that's the moving average convergence divergence, is about to confirm a bullish crossover for the third time. Previously, when it underwent a bullish crossover in 2017 and 21, the price triggered a strong bull run. Secondly, the RSI is about to rise from the multi-year bearish and descending trend line, which signifies a rise above the bearish captivity. The XRP price also consolidated within a narrow range for over 2 years then, and hence after consolidating within the same levels for some more time. The token is believed to trigger a huge bull run irrespective of the prevailing market trend. So this is the chart they spoke of. You've already seen this interpretation. I have the exact same setup on my chart. It's just makes it a little easier to see sometimes showing something like this, just because there's not as much writing on here. So that's what we're looking at. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you did appreciate this live, if you appreciated the hour and 8 minutes, I do appreciate the 71 of you who stuck this out. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you're new, consider subscribing so that I can see you in here on the next live. If you do appreciate what I do, join me again tomorrow to continue this discussion each and every day at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would look forward to seeing you more actively. If you're looking to trade XRP, you're trying to figure out how you can get your hands on it, look in the video description below. The exchanges that I use, MEXC, FEMEX, and or BITUNIX right now, which are the cheapest spot fees on futures or spot fees. Make sure you look there so that you can actually trade XRP or your favorite crypto. And then if you would like to show me personal support, you can always join Tom's Army. I would love to see more members in Tom's Army. It's a very slow time period here, so I'm actually being a little undervalued for my work in the past few months. But with every undervaluation means a reevaluation of your performance, and then you try to put in that much more of an effort, and you try to put in that much more of an improvement to the show. So hopefully going forward, you will all notice the new improvements, the expansion, the longevity, but not just that, the more inclusiveness with the audience. Outside of that, thank you to the members of Tom's Army. You bless me each and every day to be able to present this. If you can find it in your hearts to try to support my channel at least one time a month, I would greatly appreciate that, just to put in for the time and help me continue to have a strong audience base and be able to run this in the way I need to run it. It helps out more than any of you could ever imagine. So consider that when you watch my channel. Other than that, I appreciate each and every one of you. My exit plan, as I seen by somebody, I don't have an exit plan until we hit all-time highs again. Unless I see something drastically change, like we have a big bear market rally, I won't have an exit plan until we make everybody whole, because I know that's where you'll get the massive 50, 60, 70% retracement from people that have finally been made whole and they want to get the hell out. When I see that move finally ending, that's where I would maybe get rid of it, and then I'd reassess it for when it comes back down. And then once it starts picking up that steam where I see the pivot point, it doesn't even have to be the bottom, but when I see that pivot point, I'm going in again. And yeah, you might have to live with the fact that, hey, I bought it. This is where the argument comes in. I bought it at 34 cents. I sell it at $3.50, and I buy back in at $1.50. What's my buy-in? Is it $1.50? Or did you just lower your ultimate buy-in per token down under 25 cents or 20 cents by doing it that way? That's the argument that you can be had. Either way you look at it, does it matter? Nope. All you need to know is where you bought in and how you got back and where you're going. So be kind to each other, have love in your hearts. That's simply the kindest way to do it, but it's also the easiest way to get about things. And if you have love in your heart, you actually see things at a minute level. You don't judge people based on, you know, a precarious circumstance, but you certainly are not being negative to anybody. We don't play the victim here, we play the winner. And just on behalf of myself, thank you everybody who took the time to watch this. We had an hour and 11 minutes together, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Have a blessed night, everybody. Until next time, thank you all.